This podcast is sponsored by CDO Group, the industry leader in providing a full range of construction and project management services. CDO Group has managed thousands of projects in all 50 states. Their group of experts provides systems, processes, and procedures to make sure that your projects turn over on time and on budget every single time. With over 24 years of experience, CDO Group is the industry's leader in construction management and general contracting services. To find them, go to cdogroup.com. Hi, and welcome to the Future of Development podcast. My name's Aidan Maguire, and I'm here to inspire people to find amazing careers in the construction development world. If you like our podcast, please make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. If you really like our podcast, make sure you hit the little bell. Hi, welcome to the Future of Development podcast. I'm your host, Aidan Maguire, and today I'm joined by the innovative company of Hilti. Aidan Maguire and his group are showing off some of their coolest new technology. We've got robots on the show today. You're going to love it. Look forward. Let's welcome Aidan to the show. Aidan, welcome to the show. I'm excited about having you on the show. I get to talk about robots today, so I'm really excited.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to come and talk about robots. It's a subject I don't get bored of. So happy to be here.
You know, Hilti is always on the leading edge of new technology. The innovator in the construction world and what they're up to always blows me away. The tools and the designs and the forward-thinking company that it is. You know, it must be amazing to work for those folks.
No, but Hilti's a fantastic company to work for, right? We have heavy European roots, right? We were founded in Shan, Liechtenstein in 1941. Even though we're a big company, right? We've got 30,000 employees. We remain 100% family owned, and that culture really makes its way, through the organization. So I've worked for Hilti for 8 years and absolutely love it. And like you said, right, we're best known for our fastening and demolition technologies, but we do a lot of other really, really cool stuff as well, which is why it's so cool to come on here and talk about robotics, right? Everything from our cordless tools to the digital design and support services we do, to our total stations, right? And now our semi-autonomous robotics. We really try to help our customers in two ways, right? Look to make them more productive on job sites and look to make their workers safer. And the products, services, and software that we come out with are redesigned with that mantra and that goal in mind.
I was just over at the Verizon store, and I was talking to some young guys getting a couple of iPads ready, and I said, "Look, I'm getting ready to go talk to the guys from Hilti and talk about robotics." And they're like, "So when are those coming out? When's that happen? Is that like a 10-year thing?" I'm like, "No, they're available now. They're coming off the production line every single day. Hilti's they're now." And I think that's what's really amazing is people keep thinking, well, these robotic things are happening, 10 years from now. It's like some sort of future thinking, but you guys, these are coming off the assembly line every day.
Yeah, exactly right. Jaibot's not a prototype, right? Jaibot is a fully commercialized, fully certified, semi-autonomous drilling robot for construction that's ready for contractors to roll out. It's almost a case of the product is almost here before the industry is ready, right?
Well, I mean, honestly, that's really what it is. I mean, the now it's shifting our making that little shift over to our workflows that we start noticing where the problems are. I always say that how do you figure out where the car, how fast a car can go is, you start to mash on the pedal and you don't know until a wheel falls off. And same thing with how do you build a system? And our systems operate, we don't know how to operate robots until we get them into the system. And now we start to notice some of the spots where, and it's not like a hard thing to switch, it's just thinking about it a little bit different than we did before.
Exactly right. And Jaibot's really been designed with bulk of construction applications that we're trying to target in mind. So maybe wheeling back, I'll tell you a little bit, just talking a little bit about what Jaibot does, right? It's a semi-autonomous overhead drilling robot for mechanical, electrical, plumbing supports, or sometimes, right, for rigid ceilings. But essentially, Jaibot locates, drills, and then marks anchor holes in the ceiling for anything that's going to hang off the slab, above those ceiling tiles. And when you talk about, right, how the difference between like a custom robot and then something like Jaibot, which is a commercialized product, is Jaibot's designed, right, to meet the needs of the bulk of the commercial construction applications in North America. So sealing heights between 8.5 and 16.5 feet, drilling diameters between 3/16 of an inch and 5/8 of an inch. And of course, Jaibot, the information that Jaibot needs is already created on, maybe not the majority yet, but on a big number of projects in North America when it comes to, where the anchors have to go, what coordination is there, what level of design has been done in order to take advantage of the robot. Jaibot's really been designed to take advantage of the work that's already been done for anyone who's considering, or anyone who's using a total station or doing any sort of pre-construction VDC work.
All right, there's a lot you put in that conversation. There's a lot there. and I really want everybody to see it, because as you unpack that, there is a lot of great stuff there. So, first I really want to get into the bot itself and notice that, all right, look, we roll this thing off and it goes out and it will drill holes. I mean, the tedious job that was for, multiple different disciplines across the job site. Right now you've got 3 or 4, you've got a mechanical, electrical, a plumbing group, all having to take turns drilling holes in the ceiling, and getting up on ladders and drilling upwards all day long is a tedious, nobody on the job site wants to do that. It's not the fun job. It's difficult, it's messy, you got dust flying in your face the entire time. And now the bot has been able to we lay those out, and we'll talk about how that all gets figured out, and as we look at how we program them. But it takes that, and at the same time, it not only drills, but it vacuums at the same time, right? And it can do this across, for an 8-hour shift at a time, right?
Exactly right. So you spelled out the health and safety challenge that Jaibot is really targeted to fix. Look at the basic application that it's taking away and the risks involved with that for workers on the job site. There's immediate risk, right? You're going up and down ladders, you're working at heights, you have exposure to noise, to dust, to hand-arm vibration from the tool vibration. And then you also have the impact that has on the worker, right, over their lifetime, over their career in construction, and the musculoskeletal disorders and all the things, right, that you're at risk of when you do a lot of this overhead work day after day. And Jaibot eliminates all of that, dirty, dusty, not fun work to do. But because it's a semi-autonomous robot, also allows your skilled worker to make the in-field decisions that they need to really adapt the design on the fly. So you kind of have the best of both worlds. The robot does what it's good at, which is the dirty, dangerous jobs, and the tenured worker still gets to make still gets to use their experience to adapt the design to in-field conditions when they need to, right? Because, I mean, you know it really well, right? The design never matches what the field conditions are out there. So there's always some level of adjustment that needs to be done by our construction workers in the field. And Jaibot enables that while taking away the health and safety risks. And it's a cordless system, works for more than an 8-hour shift, which makes it a little bit easier to roll out.
Yeah. So that's great. So let's just talk. So now the bot, does it come with a trailer, or does it come? How does it come when I buy it? When I buy the bot, how do I get it?
So Jaibot comes in its own shipping box. It's gray, completely non-branded. Funny backstory to it, right? We initially came out with these wonderful branded Hilti job boxes, and the first contractors told us to take them back because they were such a big theft risk, right? Yeah. So it comes in quite a nondescript gray shipping container. It's kind of like a hat. It's like a 7-foot by 6-foot box. That box itself can be crane lifted. So it's got lifting hooks, so you can lift it actually onto the slab or onto the working area you're working in. It also has ramps so that you can park it up and drive Jaibot directly out of the box, and it accesses Jaibot's secure storage and charging location when it's not in use.
Nice. So it's got this shipping container that it comes on, and I think that's funny. I can't imagine someone stealing it. Like, where do you go to a pawn shop and go, "Hey, listen, I got this bot I'm going to sell." It may not be.
You can imagine, yeah. You can imagine the surprise of the first person that broke into the box, and it wasn't a bunch of Hilti tools, right? It was a robot.
Right. So look at it going, I got this bot for sale. So now it rolls off. It rolls out of the cart, out of the container, and that's a charging station, and it's got 2 tracks. and as it rolls off, it's got a ramp that rolls off of it, and now you can move it around the job site, right? It's got a way to move it. Now, who drives it? Is there the operator drives it around the job site?
Yeah, the operator drives Jaibot from wherever it's being stored or being charged into wherever it's gonna work. We've worked really hard to make Jaibot maneuverable, right? In kind of even in like tenant improvement, tenant fit out conditions. We've actually managed to make the wheelbase less than 3 feet wide, so it can fit through a standard finished door.
Nice.
When it curls up, when it's in transport mode, when the arm is folded down, the whole system is less than 5.5 feet tall. So you can again fit it through doorways, fit it into elevators, and outside of the shipping container, the shipping box, Jaibot weighs 1,800 pounds, so you can put it in a standard elevator as well. So really, really easy to maneuver Jaibot around the job site, get it to where you're working. We've done a lot of projects, right? Like hospital projects, we have to bring it in into the hospital lobby, put it in the elevator, and you're just kind of putting cardboard out in front of Jaibot until you get it into where the construction's happening. So once the operator drives Jaibot there, their job's not done, right? So Jaibot is semi-autonomous, which means that the operator drives Jaibot right around the slab from drilling location to drilling location, and once in location, Jaibot autonomously drills all the holes that it can reach within a 6-foot diameter. So the operator is always in control of the base platform and the movements of the base platform, as well as has the ability to make these design changes or these design adaptations that we spoke about. But once Jaibot's up and running, and once they're happy with where Jaibot's going to drill the holes, Jaibot autonomously drills everything it can reach, tells the operator it's done, and then the operator moves it to the next drilling location.
Nice. So now the operator that's operating this, gets trained to do this, and typically it's going to be the same person that was drilling the hole before, but now they're stepping back and they're thinking through this logic, right? And as you're, as we're looking at moving this around, does it come with its own key? Is there a controller or remote control? What does it come with that drives it?
Yeah, so Jaibot has 2 controllers. It's got a standard tablet, which actually is the same tablet we use for our total station controller, and it has a yellow controller, a base controller for driving the base unit around and for moving the lifting arm up and down. And they snap together, so it's quite a comfortable assembly for the operator to hold. So with the base controller, they drive Jaibot around the job. It's got really simple. It's got forward, backwards. Each track works independently. And then a switch to move the lifting column up and down. And then within the tablet, that's where you have the kind of smarts, the application software, which guides the operator through getting Jaibot started. This is where they have access to the Jaibot cloud, where the drilling information is stored. And that's where they can make these design changes that they need to as they're moving throughout the job.
Oh, great. So now it's got this small footprint that it operates. The operator can move it around just about anywhere that it needs to go. The tracks make it easy to operate. Now, its range. So you said from the tallest it can go is how far?
8.5 feet is the lowest to about 16.5 feet. You don't see a lot under 8.5 feet. And really at that point, it's you'd have to be quite a specialist project to want to do it that low, right? Because you don't even have to be up a ladder to drill that. So normally the project ranges we look at are between about 10 to 15 feet is where we end up working, with a maximum reach of 16.5.
Great. Right, so that gives it a pretty great. 16 feet up there. That's a decent reach, and now we've got it in place. Now let's go back and figure out how do I program this? How do I know where they're at? How does So am I working with the total station? On another episode we'll talk about the total station, which is also an amazing tool, right? So talk to me. How does it know where it's at, and how do I start understanding where how does the bot know where it's drilling?
The Jaibot system takes advantage of the existing technology really that's out there. So from where the holes are planned, where does Jaibot get the information? That comes directly from the digital model, digital coordination for the project. So through your standard MEP coordination project, your MEP subcontractors run Clash. They figure out where they want their runs to go. They plan where their hangars are going to go, and Jaibot just takes the points from those hangars. You then add in what diameter you need to drill, what depth you need to drill to, and what marking pattern you want Jaibot to spray on the slab once it's finished drilling those holes. And that all comes in just a really simple CSV format, right? So simplest digital data you can get, and that's then uploaded in the office, so through a computer or in the field if you want to. But it can be uploaded directly by the coordinator or the VDC department or the project manager into the project cloud. Now, the operator sees when they're in the field is they pull up their tablet, they log in as the operator, they've been added to the project just with an email address, and they see that information live as it's been inputted by the project team or by the design team. And the design team also get feedback directly from the tablet as Jaibot's drilling. They get production information. They get this plan versus drilled location, right? So where have the holes exactly been drilled? What's the quality of install? Are they hitting rebar? So they also get all this cool feedback in the office from the robot as it's working in the field as well. So the operator gets this top-down view of here's my slab, here's where all my different holes are going to be drilled, and he then sets up the total station. So you take our total station out, turn it on. When you have a kind of a robust slab setup or control setup, the total station will even station itself just based on a couple of targets. You can also go as an operator and just station over grid lines or over control points, whatever you normally use on a project. Once that total station has been stationed, it looks at Jaibot, connects to the prism, and then the total station locates Jaibot on that job. So what the operator sees is their map of all their holes with a top-down view of here's where the robot is, here's where the total station is, and this circle shows me how many holes I can drill within this current setup. And from that point, as they drive around the job, it tracks the robot. They can see exactly where they're moving versus where the holes are planned. And they also have this background, they can have a background like DWG as well. So they can see if there's, walls, if there's beams, structural elements, even the pipe runs themselves. They have that information just that they can view on the tablet as well if they want to. So the operator in the field has pretty much the same information as a total station operator, except for the fact that they also see where the robot is as it's driving around or as they're maneuvering it around the job. So,
for those that aren't familiar with the total station, I think this is the piece that really sets the job site up for success, right? It positions and it gives the coordinates for where everything's at. So the total station, right, kind of is the communicator of where I am, right? That's kind of the purpose of the total station.
Exactly. The total station provides the accuracy for the installation, and it provides the, localization, you could call it, for really tracking where the robot is. For those of you for anyone who's not familiar with the total stations generally track a prism or a reflector in the field. So if you're using a total station, you have a prism that you walk around and you kind of see where the prism's moving on that job versus your map on your tablet. Jaibot has a prism just like that. So it's almost like a prism pole that drills and sprays as well. So it's a really similar setup from an operator perspective to what they see with a total station, and the preparation required to use Jaibot effectively on the job is also the same as what you need to do for a total station, right? So that really helps contractors adapt the technology. They don't need to make massive adjustments to their design to field processes, to the amount of digital preparation that their BIM teams or VDC teams have to do. And even in field, construction managers or general contractors don't need to provide anything above and beyond what they would for a project that planned to utilize total stations. So it really builds off the technology that's already been used on projects today.
Well, that's really what's amazing is that now, all everybody now is in some sort of a AutoCAD or Revit model, and now they upload that model to the cloud, and now the operator can pull that down in the field, that's in Jaibot now using the total station, can locate itself to get to those coordinates, and as it goes down, it just keeps relating back to the total station to get its positioning for it, right?
Exactly. As Jaibot moves around the job, the total station tracks that prism and updates the position of the robot live as it drives around.
Look, you could feel how. The first time I saw this bot, Eric was running in the office, like, you got to see this, and you can really feel how this is. You guys have really taken a huge leap into the world of robots, right? It's a dramatic difference. This is not in theory. This is actually happening now. It's rolling off the production line. Robots are in the field and able to do this. Now, give me an idea. How many holes can it drill in an average day? Is it 100, 500, 5,000?
So it's very, very dependent on project conditions, but I'll kind of give some boundary conditions, some guidelines. The first thing we found out when we started to talk to customers about robotic drilling was a lot of contractors weren't aware of how many holes their teams were actually drilling right now, right, using traditional methods. So we actually spent a lot of time trying to define what normal productivity looks like in order to understand how good the robot needed to be or was. So what we found out was that generally the installation process happens with a team of 2 workers. If they're using fully traditional methods, right, pulling a tape off a column line or off a chalk line on the floor, you'll have one worker laying out either on the floor or the ceiling. If they're laying out on the floor, they'll then use a dot box or a beam laser to transfer that point from the ceiling up, from the floor up to the ceiling. Then they'll go up the ladder and drill their hole. And the productivity was astounding, right? In terms of what they were achieving, they were only achieving like 50 to 70 holes laid out and drilled in a given day with a team of 2 workers, right? Which is, and that was pretty standard across a whole bunch of different contractors. Of course, there's ways to make that faster, right? You add a total station to the process and you can speed that up a little bit. But to give you an idea, that's kind of where standard productivity is for this application as it stands right now. Now with Jaibot, there are a lot of factors to consider, right? So how ready the job site is, what the line of sight looks like, how much material is loaded on the slab. But if you have a project set up optimally for the robot, if you have Jaibot drilling the holes for multiple trades overhead, we've seen productivity rates of 500 to 700 holes in an 8-hour shift with a single worker. Wow. So you get this 10 times increase in the drilling that can be done. Yes, you have to do a little bit of work to adjust your schedule. You have to do a little bit of work in preparation to put all the trades, all that drilling together. But once you do it, the payoff is immediate in terms of how much of your market reach or how much of your human capital you're going to put out to do the task. And then also how quickly you can actually get that work done and move on to something else.
Well, I think that's something that's really big to think about, right? As you start to look at how do you set the job site up, right? Because my guess is that Jaibot does it, if it's drilling up for one trade, it's drilling for all trades. And starting to look at, how do you get each trade to use a similar drill hole? I mean, does Jaibot go up and then when it comes down, it changes drill bits? Or is my goal to try to work with the engineers ahead of time to identify one size that will work for all?
So Jaibot doesn't automatically change the drill bit out. Changing the drill bit is a manual process, but it's really fast. So it's actually an off-the-shelf SDS Hilti drill that's at the top. So changing a drill bit in Jaibot is almost as fast as changing a drill bit in your drill by hand.
But hold on, but do I have to go find my chuck? I mean, the hardest part about changing a drill bit for me is finding my chuck. I can never find it. I don't know where that chuck goes, but it's with socks and some sort of corner of the universe that gets. All right, I'm sorry. I know that's funny, but
we actually include a spare chuck just for that reason and a spare drum, just in case.
I'm telling you, that is the number one problem with changing chucks anywhere on a job site. It's changing a drill bit. It's finding my chuck.
But I mean, to answer your question, the anchors, that's really where the entire portfolio of Hilti products comes into play, and some of the other services we provide, right? We're really well known for our anchors and our fastening products. So a lot of the times we'll work with contractors to figure out standard 1 or 2 anchors that can be used for all the trades. And that's supported, right? With the modern MEP anchors are often like multi-threads. So, you can have for one anchor, you can have a 5/8 and a 3/8 or something like that, right? So we work with contractors to limit the number of anchors the anchor types that are going to be used across the trades, and that increases the productivity in the end on the job site. So it's something that we help out contractors with. A lot of contractors will go and kind of have already got there and standardize it themselves as well.
Well, and then Hilti does that, right? You guys help the engineers design that whole package, right? I saw that on your website.
Yeah. We have field engineers who come out and help out with all of that.
I got it. So there was a whole modular support design team that I saw. I mean, that to me looks pretty interesting, right? Being able to get that whole modular setup to look at for not just the hangers that we're using, and then the type of racking system that we can use, so that we can put multiple disciplines into one racking system pretty efficiently. Yeah,
exactly. That's one of the coolest developments we've seen with Jaibot, because right the industry has been trying to get to multi-trade racking supports for quite a long time. I talked to a lot of mechanical contractors, and they're like, "Look, I build multi-trade racking on every project. I've done it once." Right? Like it very even though they bid it, it very rarely happens. Right. And the problem they're trying to solve is the same. It's how do you get everyone, all of the sub-trades designs together with enough time to have it planned before everyone has to go out and do the job, so that you're not just rushing to do the work, but you have this lead time to do this design work beforehand. And that's also, what Jaibot needs in order to put all that drilling together, is this planning and this upfront coordination. And what we found is that they're really going together hand in hand. So you can get a project, right, which got to have 5 or 6 different sub-trades. They then start talking about using Jaibot, or vice versa. They start talking about using multi-trade racking. They come in, they put their designs together. They go from, for example, 30,000 holes that they'd have to drill down to 10,000 holes by optimizing and putting multi-trade racking right in their main runs. They can then do a lot more prefabrication, which makes them a lot more efficient when they actually get to the job site. And then they go and do drilling in a single step with Jaibot. And you suddenly have this, all these kind of blocks falling into place where you look at the savings across applying all of those kind of design optimizations, different methods of installation, and it really starts to make a difference for these groups of sub-trades and these project teams on projects.
Well, and I think there's where the changes have happened, right? A lot of this innovation, as we go through it, every brand, every group I talk to that makes these big leaps in innovation, it's not that we can't get it done. It just takes a little bit of thinking, right? Most of these things are available to us right now, but just because of we'll figure it out later. Oh, we'll do it. And it just kind of, hey, we got it this way. We'll do it this way. And what we end up finding out is we keep doing what we've been doing. We keep getting what we've been getting. And that same process is time consuming, very expensive, low profitability. What ends up hurting is everybody, right? The entire job site suffers. Every sub on there, the contractor suffers, the trades suffer, the tradesmen suffer, and then ultimately the client suffers. And when we look at that, we go, all right, we can think about this in a much smarter way. We get way more efficient at doing the designs that we put together, and then the long-term effects of developing systems that are set up this way, that are modular and multi-rack systems, they're a lot easier to adapt later on as we look at changing out a facility, or changing out a floor plan, or changing a floor to a different tenant. Having similar type modular setups make it very interesting to be able to do that.
Absolutely, and that's why robots on jobs are so cool, right? Because you get that. You don't just get the ability to take the digital design, put it in the robot, and have it execute whatever it's doing, whether it's laying out or drilling or whatever, have it executed on the job. You also get the feedback back into the digital twin, or back into the model of, here's exactly what I did, and you can start to compare it and you can start to update it. And just that richness of information that you get back from the field immediately goes up as well, with not a heavy amount, not like huge effort to get it, right? The robot just automatically updates what it's doing. So that two-way information flow is really, really exciting.
I hear it, and I think that's something we don't want to rush over, because we could jump over that. This is actual. This is not just some red line that someone did at the end of the job, just trying to satisfy a checkbox. This is actual where things are at, down to. I mean, how accurate are those that communication?
I mean, it updates as regularly as you want to. We think we set it for like every 15 minutes to update progress. You can do it more or less if you want to. And what's cool is that the feedback we get from contractors on how they use the information, right? Some contractors love the fact that they know exactly how much work has been done, because they can then plan how many teams they need to come in afterwards to actually install stuff. So they can say, well, he's only done 50% of the floor 6, so I'm actually going to move a couple of guys and have them do something else for a while. So they're kind of limiting this downtime and optimizing the utilization of their workers on a project. And then you get contractors who really like to compare where it was actually drilled versus where it was meant to be drilled, right? So this as built versus as designed, where exactly did it go? And then some contractors are really into the kind of quality, monitoring the quality of the install, because Jaibot also gives feedback on if holes were failed, or if someone had hit rebar or anything like that, right? So there's actionable information coming out of the robot to help the job run more effectively, and to help contractors plan their work better live as they're going through the job, and then also get this design information back.
And I think that's what's so amazing, right? Where we're going, right? What we're seeing. This is what's fascinating about the technology jump that you guys are doing, right? We can't imagine what we're going to get out of where it's going, right? So you guys have developed, these new softwares, these new technologies, these new hardwares for the field, and now the information that we get out of it is creating things that we did not predict when you guys invented the bot, right? When you make the bot, you're like, hey, look, it's going to drill holes, right? But now what comes out of the backside of it is it's got productivity, it's got red line drawings, it's got actual dimensions, something that will live. When we talk about creating a digital twin of a project, right? When we really look at what's going to happen in metaverse and the future of these buildings, we today are charged with really developing a very accurate, down to every specification accuracy of a digital twin, right? In order for that metaverse to where we're going in the future, what's happening, what's coming down the pipeline. From my seat, all these new cool technologies that are being applied to construction like never before. The accuracy of data, what the building actually has and where it actually is going to impact the future in ways that we still can't even start to imagine from where we stand here. And I think that, to me, is something that's, like you said, it's stuff that we didn't expect to come out of it. I think this is going to continue to happen in the way that we develop these systems,
I'm laughing here because, having worked in product management now for 4 years or more, no one is better than our contractors for using products for stuff other than what they've been immediately designed for, right? Like no one hacks technology better than a contractor out in the field who figures out a new way to get something out of something or a new way to use the information, right? Like that's not what we had in mind, but that's cool. Yes, let's build it into the next version. Let's make that a bit easier going forward.
I already imagined having this thing at a party and serving drinks. So look, I'm going to figure out how to get this into, get my kid to vacuum their bedrooms or something. But, so that's what's fun about these new horizons that Hilti's going down, right? By the way, that's got to be a lot of fun. So all the places that, so you're now in Dallas, right? You're down in Texas?
Yeah.
It sounds like you were born there, right? It sounds like you've got that Texas.
Oh yeah. Native Texan, born and bred. Actually, I heard it. So I heard a great saying from the guy that sold me my last car. We were talking about, where are you from? It's just stuff. And I was like, obviously I'm Irish, right? You can tell by my accent. But I said, but you must be here from Texas. He's like, no, I'm not Texan, but I got here as fast as I can. And I kind of feel the same way. I thought it was a lovely way to describe the state and the feeling of the people in the state.
People in Texas love Texas, especially Dallas. Yeah. It's a great town. And there's a lot of great stuff that's happening there. We've got an office down there, and I love going down there and the bigness of it and all the stuff that's happening. And, Hilti being in the center of that really is, the innovative company that they are and the products they're developing to be in the epicenter of the country and watching that go out there. You were telling me about the innovation center that you've got. Give me some more feedback on that one. I want to know, get our audience to hear more about that.
Yeah, so we have a couple of different facilities in Dallas. One of those is what we call our customer experience center. And because Hilti covers such a broad range of applications, everything from, design support services to tools to fastening and protection to fire stop products, we built a customer experience center here it's actually in Irving, but here in Dallas, that we bring contractors into so they can see how, not just the full scope of our products, but they can really see how they can fit into a project ecosystem, right? Everything from how they can consider using our products during their design phase to make their field teams more effective down the line, to how all of our tools can stick together. Particularly now, we just launched a new Cordis platform that has a lot of smart IoT cloud connected features, so how they can get more information out of their tools and they can see the whole ecosystem all together. And it's also coupled with a anchor testing and fire stop testing facility specifically for the North American market. So we do a lot of custom testing here for our anchor products and for fire stop products specifically for the market here. And it was important that even though Hilti is a European company, we had that capabilities here because of the North American conditions being a little bit different. It's a really cool experience. Contractors come in, they can see what the seismic test center looks like, they can see what a fire stop burn lab looks like, and they can also see all of our products and how they can, interact as part of an ecosystem and how they all fit together.
Well, being that you're on the podcast, right? I get to go play. I get like an invite. Can I?
100%, Anthony. Next time you're in Dallas, look me up. I'll hook you up.
I'm down there in a couple of weeks. I'm looking. Yeah, look. I love playing with. Ask anybody on this spot. I love toys. I love new products. I love innovation as we go. Because what's fun about the construction industry right now is all these great technologies that have grown in other markets and other playgrounds. Now, from manufacturing, from the healthcare divisions, from all these other areas of the world, the financial markets, all of that technology is now coming into play in our playground. And you can really start to see how companies like Hilti, who are innovating, you're first to market with creating these bots and getting them out there. This is really, front line, leading edge of where we're going. And that to me it's so exciting to be in construction at this time, and especially for young people, right? For me, it's such an exciting time to be in this career. If you want to be anything, if you are you want to do technology, great. Construction's the right place to be. If you want to, no matter what you want to do, applying it to construction, material sciences, construction's there, right? All of the great stuff that's happening here. It's an exciting time to be here.
No, I mean, now more than ever, construction is changing, right? People coming out of school, they're changing the way they look at construction based on some of the new technologies that they see, right? They see robots on construction sites. They see people using drones. They see augmented reality, mixed reality, and it changes this perception that, you're swinging a hammer and it's a fun industry for people who are kind of hard conditioned to use these technologies through school. It's seen as a really cool pathway, right, to start to use this tech, and the level of technology that's being applied is going up and up and up. So no, now more than ever, construction is super exciting. I know for me, it's been even when I've been working for Hilti now for 8 years. I was a mechanical engineer. Before that, I studied, turbo machinery design. I thought I was going to go work in airplanes. And Hilti like, no, maybe not. Here's a van full of tools. Go learn construction. But it's been so cool to see that evolution, right, from where construction was and just how fast the adoption of technology is happening as people with these kind of more, I guess, technology open people particularly join the industry, right? They look for ways to apply some of the stuff they've used either in other industries or some of the technologies they've used in school onto a construction site. And it's only going to get more exciting.
Well, and I got to tell you, I'm excited. I love this. I know our audience is, and audience members, we're going to put a lot of links down below. The video, you've got to see the video of it. We'll have all that linked down below. So if you're listening in, please take a second, go look at the links. Make sure you have any comments, anything more you want to find out about, about the Jaibot. Do that now. And if they want to get a hold of you and go out and test drive one of these themselves, how do they get a hold of your group?
Yeah, a couple of easy ways to do it. I'm always open. Personally, I am always open to feedback, and I love hearing directly from contractors. So I would encourage anyone who cares to reach out to me directly. You can get me on LinkedIn. Also, my email is pretty simple. It's aidan.maguire@hilti.com. So anyone with ideas or is really interested in what Jaibot does, please feel free to reach out to me directly. If you want to find out more background information, if you're keen on getting Jaibot into your project and you just want to get in contact with one of our local teams, you can go to our website, www.hilti.com/Jaibot, and on our landing page, we have a quick form you can fill out, and one of our team will be in touch. And because Hilti, right, we go direct to customers. We have specialists for digital construction, specialists for managing your accounts, specialist field engineers, all across North America and Canada. So you'll be contacted by someone in your backyard, not just me in Plano. So any of those methods are open.
By the way, audience members, as you guys adopt this, getting bots on your projects, I want to see it, right? So if you can, make sure you link back to me. I want to get those on and highlight those on the show and really highlight what you're doing with the Jaibot out there. I want to see that and maybe do a live demo from the job site with you on the projects that you're working on. It's amazing. Your group is Hilti. Again, bravo for the advances that you're doing. I'm excited about that. Audience members, if you liked hearing about this product and you have questions or feedback, please just do me a favor and leave a comment down below and hit the like button and subscribe for us. It gives us good feedback to know that we're hitting the right products and that are exciting you. If you have any product ideas, let us know that too. We want to highlight those, and I loved getting into it and finding out more about them. So I am excited. And Aidan, thanks for being on the show. I'm going to take you up. I'll be down in Dallas here in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to go play in your innovation center and check that stuff out.
Awesome. I'll be excited to have you, and I had a super time on here today. So thanks for having me on.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks for joining us. My name is Anthony Amunategui, always looking for people to bring insight into the industry, finding ways to inspire people to have amazing careers in the development world. If you liked our podcast, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. If you really liked our podcast, make sure you hit the little bell. Thanks again for listening. Please share it with your friends.